Hi! This video will tell you about introductory paragraphs. What you learn in this video can be used in all the essays in my class, including the midterm and the final, but also any essays in other classes. Here we go. As you know, an essay has 3 types of paragraphs. It always contains 3 different types of paragraphs, each with a specific structure. There's an introductory paragraph. There are many body paragraphs often, and there's a concluding paragraph. For this class, your intro paragraph needs to be 6 sentences long at a minimum. That's 6 sentences total. So what are you going to do for those 6 sentences? An introductory paragraph generally has 2 parts. 1, a hook, also known as an introductory strategy, and 2, a thesis. You might also have been taught about a 3rd part, which is sort of a bridge between the hook and the thesis. You're welcome to do that if you wish. So the hook should be about 5 sentences long at minimum, and the thesis should be 1 to 2 sentences long. All right? Now, the function of a hook is to get your reader interested in your essay. The hook is related to your thesis. It contains the same basic ideas as your thesis. But what do you write for those 5 sentences? What I'm going to give you is a list of possible hooks or strategies you can use in your hook. It's important, even though you might like several different hooks, please just choose one for your essay. Do not choose more than one. The idea is you pick a hook and you fully develop it for 5 sentences. If you use a bunch of different hooks in one intro paragraph, your essay will seem jumpy or disorganized. All right, so here are your choices. 1, you can open with a brief, vivid description. This is often the easiest and applies to many different possible essays. That's where you just describe something that's in your thesis. For example, if your thesis is describing a problem in your neighborhood, the hook could be a vivid description that gives the reader a visual image of that problem. The second possible hook is an anecdote, which is a personal story, and that is relate something that happened to you to the thesis. Another option is open with a background story. So this is where you relate something that happened to someone involved to the thesis. This might be something you found in your research. So a newspaper article, for example, interviewed somebody and they had an interesting story. Be sure, if it comes from an outside source, you put quotes around any words you borrow, and be sure to cite your source with an in-text citation, even if you paraphrase. So after every sentence that you borrow, include the author's last name. Some more possible strategies. Give a list of examples. Another one. Open with a definition. Be sure to put quotes around any words you borrow. Be sure to cite your source. And if that's only 1 sentence, right, you need 5 sentences. Spend the rest of the sentences explaining why that definition is important and related to your thesis. Another option is to open with a surprising fact or statistic related to your thesis. Be sure to put quotes around any words you borrow. Be sure to cite your source, and be sure to explain why the fact or statistic is important. Even more choices! Try a historical comparison. Be sure to put quotes around any words you borrow. Be sure to cite your source, and be sure to explain why the event is important. How is it related to your thesis? You might also use a vivid quotation. Be sure you introduce that quote with some of your own words before the first quotation mark. Be sure to cite your source and then explain why the quote is important or relevant to your thesis. A final option, and this might be one you wait for essays 3 or 4 to use, it's up to you, is open with a refutation. Summarize the other side, if your thesis has one, and tell why that side is wrong. Here's a little outline of what your intro paragraph will look like. It'll have a hook and a thesis. That's the end of this lecture. But let me show you some more resources I have for you. So you can see here, I've got the PowerPoint that I showed you in this video, so you can download that on your own. I also have a couple of worksheets that could help you. One is in a PDF, and one is in Word if you want to type right on there. You'll see that it gives you directions and the requirements, and gives you some spaces to write your hook. And also, same with the thesis. I give you a breakdown of my notes here on this Canvas page, but I also provide you with some videos and give you a few rules. And finally, I include some sample hooks. So if you've never looked at a hook or you need some examples, here are some choices. Now, these would all go with different essays, obviously, but you can kind of see some choices of what you might do in your essay. So I hope this is helpful. Let me know if you have questions. Bye.